Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of MC2, the Monday Coffee Conversation. Got mine with me. I hope you got yours. Let's get into it. I'm drinking out of my new USS Arizona Memorial coffee mug. That's from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Matt brought it back for me after his stint down there with the Air National Guard. And it's one of my favorites. That was a horrible day in American history, and it's pretty cool to have that from the actual place where everything took place. Been a while since we've been here. A couple weeks ago, we had one done, and we had internet issues. Well, actually, it was Facebook issues, not the internet itself. But couldn't get it uploaded, so we're just re-recording it, just doing it all again fresh today. Then we had the Women's with a Vision, that was their week for the online Bible study, and we try not to double up with that. And then last week was the Women's Conference, and we had the live feed of that every night at 7 p.m., and by all accounts was just a great time that the ladies had together, learning about the Lord and fellowshipping together. But here we are back again with MC2. If you'll recall, the last time we were with you guys, we started a breakdown of the 23rd Psalm. And we looked at the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So today we're moving down to the next verse, and we're looking at, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and He leadeth me beside the still waters. Now, those two sentences that make up that verse, they show comfort. They show refreshment. They represent a time of rest and a time of nourishment with the cool waters. And from a analogy standpoint, when the shepherd will be out with his sheep in the heat of the day, if you keep them out there and it gets really hot, they could fall over and die. So he would find a place, the shepherd would, in between two mountains or where the sun is behind a certain mountain. And y'all know how it is where we live. You know how a holler gets in the middle of the day if the sun's just a little bit this way. There's some places that stay in the shade all day long. So the shepherd would find a place like that, and that's where he would let his sheep stay during the heat of the day, the middle of the day. And because of the way that the places like it would stay in the shade, they would be grassy. They weren't out in the middle of the wide open and getting scorched by the sun. So the shepherd would lead his sheep to these cooler areas that had some grass for them to lay on and munch on, and that's where they'd take their midday siesta, a little nap, which is always a good thing. But a lot of times with the mountain runoff, there would be streams coming down. And just like around here, a lot of it would be spring water, fresh coming out of the ground, cold. So the verse does say, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and He leadeth me beside the still waters. And that is showing comfort. That is showing rest. And that's exactly what God gives us. Take the hottest part of the day as an analogy for the hardest things that we go through all of the trials and the loss and the struggles that we have here on this earth. God gives us that peace, and He gives us that refreshment. How? Through His Word, through prayer and talking to Him, through people He sends into our lives. See, God's blessings have been in place for us today all throughout history. God knew everything you were going to go through, and He has set things up in your life to where you can have that peace and that restoration through Him. If you don't believe, maybe that God has planned for you for eons and eons of time, just look at Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark was all these thousands of years ago. And God planned everything, and He told Noah what to do, and there was 2 chickens that was put on that ark. Now, all the other animals, there was 2 chickens. And you can say, Steve, that's no big deal. That's good. I like chickens. I like eggs and this, chickens are cool. But you think about it, he put those 2 chickens on that ark thousands and thousands of years ago so he could bless you today with Chick-fil-A. Huh? The Lord's Chicken. That place was planned by God all those years ago just so you could have a blessing by going through their drive-thru and have them talk nice to you and give you a great, nice chicken sandwich and those waffle fries that are just so good. But all that was planned with those 2 chickens going on the ark. Now, did God say, I'm doing this for Chick-fil-A? I don't know. But all of our blessings were put in place all those years ago. The way that we can talk to God now and don't have to have a high priest was through Jesus and the sacrifice he made. And that was put in place all those years ago. So when we go through these things that are tough on this earth, remember that God has that rest and restoration, those green pastures and that cool water for us. Psalms 30:5 said that weeping is going to happen. Weeping may come for a little while, but joy cometh in the morning. So yeah, we're going to have that heat of the day moment. We're going to have several of them. And some of them may last a lot longer than others. But God is there for the restoration and the rest and the comfort we need through all of it. So the psalmist here, he's using, like we talked about before, he's using an analogy of something he knows, the leading the sheep and all that, where he was a shepherd as a young boy. I don't have sheep. You may have sheep, but I doubt you're out with them all day long in the field. So maybe we can't understand just how important that is. Well, you're outside mowing and it's hot and you're just, it's miserable. And you come in and you get that glass of cold water. And you feel that when you open the door, you feel that heat pump or air conditioner coolness from being out in that hot sun and mowing, working, even just walking, whatever you're doing. This time of year can get miserable. But when you come in and you get that air conditioner blast or you get that cool water, that's a very refreshing thing. And usually me, and I know 1,000 other people that do it, you walk in and you feel that and you're just like, oh, this is nice. This is so good. This feels great. And you sit down a few minutes and you get all comfy and you're cooling off. Your body is getting the liquids replenished when you're drinking that water or Gatorade or whatever it may be. And maybe sometimes you get settled in real good and you take you a little nap. And you feel better after that because you've cooled off and you've rested. You've had a little bit of relaxing time. That's what he's saying. That is a small comparison to what God gives us when we're going through things. So whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you may go through tomorrow or next month or 10 years from now, never forget that those green pastures and that cool water is there for us. That we can go to God and we can get that restoration. We can get that peace. That peace, my favorite verse, one of my favorite verses, I say it all the time. That peace that comes without any understanding. When that hot sun's beating down and you're not supposed to have any rest, but all of a sudden you get in a holler that's just full of green grass and there's a spring running by and it's shady. That's that peace that God can only give. We hope you've enjoyed this. We hope you can remember that. Not what I said, not what Steve said about Chick-fil-A or coffee or nothing, but you can remember that when you're going through something, that peace and restoration can be found in God. And He's wanting to give it to us. He's right there. We don't need to look anywhere else. We don't need to try to find another source. We just need to go to the one that created us all. We'll see you guys next time on MC Squared, the Monday Coffee Conversation.